Welcome to the Artisans of Light Skills Challenge set of videos. This video will be about a multiplicity shot. How you set up to take a multiplicity shot, the camera settings, the lighting, the easiest way to get it accomplished. We'll talk about how the camera's set up, we'll talk about lighting, and then we'll talk about how to take that information that you gather on those frames, put it in Lightroom, make the changes in Lightroom you need to make, to move it into Photoshop, to blend the images to go to a completed multiplicity shot. So let's get started. You'll notice the first thing is that the camera's on a tripod. You want the camera in exactly the same position for each frame that you take so that when you're blending those frames together, there's no changes in the frames. That makes it a lot easier to take the individual shots and blend them together because the camera's in the same place. The second thing that you want to do is make sure that you're on manual focus. When you trigger that image, you don't want the camera to change focus and focus on one place and then another so that you have different parts of the frame in focus for each shot. So manual focus sets your focus. The next thing you want is manual white balance. You don't want the white balance to change so that you have a different color cast in one part of the images from another part of the images. So set your white balance. In this case I have it set for flash, and we'll talk about that in a minute. I've got the camera set right now at a 1/25th of a second at f8. Since we're shooting this at about 17 millimeter, f8 will give us plenty of depth of field so that I'm not going to have to worry about a focus issue. So set the camera up for multiplicity, put it on a tripod, put everything in manual so that nothing changes, white balance, aperture, or shutter speed, and get ready to take your images after you've gotten the camera set up. Now we'll talk about how to think about planning the shot on the other side of the camera. Now, there you are on the other side of the camera and I'm on this side of the camera. Let's talk about planning the shot. In this case, since I'm burning bacon in just a minute, in this case, since I'm going to shoot that multiplicity shot around the breakfast table, the question becomes, how do you plan to where you're going to be? Are you going to use all the chairs? Are you going to use some of the chairs? How many places are you going to be? How many different looks are you going to take? In this case, since it's a demonstration video and I'm playing hooky from decorating the Christmas tree, I'm not going to change costumes each time. But the key here is plan so that you don't have any overlap, because when you blend those images together, that overlap is going to be difficult to deal with. So from that side of the camera, look to where the camera's looking. Think about where you're going to be, think about what you're going to take, think about how you're going to put those together. Now before we talk about lighting, I will tell you unequivocally that the best way to do a multiplicity shot is outdoors on a gray or overcast day, so that the scene is flatly lit and consistent all the way across. In this case, while it is gray and overcast outside, it's also raining, and I'm not willing to get into the rain to do this, so we're doing it in the kitchen. The problem becomes, how do you light the shot so that you have good and even lighting all the way around? The easiest way, of course, would be to use natural light or incident light without anything else, but I'm not going to do it the easy way. Let me swing the camera here, and you can see I've got a light stand with an umbrella here and a light stand with an umbrella there. The idea is to put those light stands and umbrellas about equidistant from all the places around the table so that it's kind of an arc. Let me show you what I mean. The distance from this closest umbrella to these chairs and the distance to that umbrella is about the same. If I move to this umbrella, I'm equidistant. If I move to the umbrella over here, it's quite a bit of ways away from that one and closer to this one. So hopefully we have even lighting all the way across. The idea of that even lighting is so that when you go to blend the images, all the images have the same amount of light. So take a test frame and look to see, do you have the kind of light that you need? Now that you've got the camera set up, you've got the lights set up, take a test frame to see that your lighting is relatively even all the way across the frame, and that everything is in focus. And after everything's in focus and lighting is even across the frame, then it's a matter of putting it on a 10-second delay so that you can pull the trigger, get into position, take your picture, and do it again.